Nice. Nurse?
Sexy nurse?
What's Matty going as?
Cat!
Trevor! Trevor's in the trees!
I got this.
Accidents can be chaotic. Luckily, you can capture exactly what happened with our Amy Access app.
You can come down now, Neil.
I don't think I can.
You're with Amy.
Well, hello everybody and welcome to week 2 of the Country Rugby League Championships. Today we're in beautiful Bathurst here at Carrington Park. It promises to be a cracker of a match, first up between Riverina and the Northern Rivers. Well, Michael Golikoff will be my co-commentator this morning, and Michael caught up with Choc Anderson, who's the Country Rugby League chairman.
Well, Choc, great for you to join us before kick-off here in Bathurst today. An important day for the Country Rugby League. You must be pleased with the way things are going so far.
Yes, it's been very good. We were in Foster last week and in Bathurst this week, and in Muswellbrook with our 16s and 18s next week, and it just keeps going.
Well, this concept for the Country Rugby League has proven to be quite successful, and it's growing year by year, and the profile is certainly raising.
Yeah, we try to be very professional in what we do, and I think we're going upwards, so that's the main thing. And today we're looking for a good crowd. There's a Western Division reunion that's going to take place. So I think they'll come from everywhere.
Well, obviously this concept gives players in the bush a pathway, a chance to prove themselves on a bigger stage. Is that one of the reasons the concept and the tournament was designed?
Yeah, well, we look at it from a lot of different angles, and don't forget we've got the country first we picked, and they're going to Fiji, and there'll be country second side going to Darwin. So a lot of these players got a lot to play for, and there's a lot of talent scouts from the NRL clubs come and watch. And
some of the teams down here are featuring some handy talent that's already played in the NRL, plus players that are aspiring to go to that next level, so a good cross-section of players.
Yeah, well, that's one of the good things about Country Rugby League. Some of these players do come back and they teach the younger ones, and hopefully they can go up.
Yeah, always great to catch up with the Country Rugby League chairman, Choc Anderson. Well, Michael Golikoff joins me right now. Morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning, Peter. Looking forward to a great day of football here at Carrington Park in Bathurst. A little bit chilly and the autumn leaves are falling. It should be a picturesque day for football.
How do you think it will go?
Well, I'm really looking forward to this first clash between Riverina and Northern Rivers. Both teams have got a spattering of first-grade experience through them, as well as some of the shining stars from their respective districts. And, you know, Scott Sattler, what a name of rugby league he is to be coaching in the Northern Rivers side, and no doubt he'll be looking to impart some of his wisdom on his charges today.
Okay, well, Michael Golikoff actually caught up with Scott Sattler earlier in the morning.
Well, Scott, an important day for your team here today in Bathurst. A chance to go one better than last year.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. We've had a really good campaign over the last 3 years. The first year I came into the role, it was more about a development year, and last year we took some pretty big steps, and this year again we've had a good squad. We've had a really good preparation, a couple of injuries, but fortunately enough we've been able to replace those with pretty capable players.
Tell us about this tournament and what it means to the district in the Northern Rivers.
Well, traditionally Northern Rivers hasn't really been highly regarded in this competition, and we've been trying to change that perspective. I think last year we went a long way in changing that perception about the region, and let's hope we go another step further this year as well. But for the players itself, for me it's about having respect for the jersey and having respect for the region, and also the players and the junior players that you represent within that region. Let's hopefully that we can come away with a win today, and then get the result to hopefully get a game closer to home so our supporters can come along and see these guys in action.
Well, your opponents today, Riverina, a good win against them last year in the tournament. What are you expecting today?
Big turnover of players, like we have as well. A couple of high quality players that have NRL experience. David Milne is one who we'll have to watch out for. In these games you don't know a lot about your opposition, so it's more about concentrating on yourself and making sure you can get your processes right and just build yourself a really good foundation in the first 20-25 minutes, and that's what we're going to concentrate on really, is just hopefully be aggressive, be full of energy, and hopefully be able to complete enough sets. That boring statistic about completing sets to give we've got a lot of polish in our teams in regards to scoring points. If we can give them a chance here this afternoon by building a really good foundation, we'll put ourselves in a good position.
Name a couple of your stars today that you're looking to lead the way.
Brett Kelly, our fullback, country fullback last year, exceptional rugby league player. I think he should be playing in an NRL system, to be quite honest. Our 5'8" Chris King and our co-captain, usually a centre, but he's going to be a big running 5'8", a bit like a GI type style when he was playing number 6. And I think our front row, Tim James as well, who was a big man, but very quick for a big man as well. So hopefully those players really stand up here this afternoon.
Well, it's a cool morning so far in Carrington Park, Bathurst. You're no stranger to this venue. You've had plenty of time here when you were with the Penrith Panthers. So have you been able to give your side any insight?
I don't think it's more about the location, which we played a couple of games up in Bathurst when I was at the Panthers, but it's more about handling the weather and the conditions, I think. It's a bit of a shock to the system for a group of guys that come from near the Gold Coast, where today it's about 22 or 23 degrees. So it's probably getting your head around those conditions more or less. We've had to prepare them the best we can over the last 24 hours for the conditions, and let's see. Physically, I know that we're better than most sides in the competition. It's about basically getting it in between the ears and getting them ready.
Early this morning, we also caught up with the Riverina coach, Josh Cale.
Well, Josh, you've got a pretty handy side to take on the Northern Rivers today. Included in that side is 5 captain coaches, so you must be happy with the experience level you can put on the park?
Yeah, look, we lost a couple of experienced blokes, after the team was picked in Willie Jones and Benny Jeffrey and Pete Little, but I think the guys that have come in, we're really happy with, and to have 5 captain coaches in the team's made it really easy, and there's been plenty of senior players there, so no, it's been a good camp so far.
Well, David Milne and, of course, Nick Skinner both have NRL experience. Is that something that's been able to, feed on their experience to the rest of your teammates?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Look, Nick's our captain. He's a leader. He's also captain coach. So, he's been great. And Milne's a real laid-back character. He's pretty relaxed. So I think that's also good for camps like these. And
tell us, have you been able to get much homework done on the Northern Rivers side? What are you expecting from them today?
Yeah, look, I know they played us last year. I didn't see the game. I don't know a great deal about them. I know they're pretty slick in the back line. So, look, we're just worrying about ourselves. We've come up with a game plan. Hopefully, we can stick to it and we can put in a good performance today.
And what are some of the aspects you're looking to really take advantage of from the strengths from your side today?
Oh, look, I think Kyle McCarthy in a halfback, his experience, hopefully he can steer us around, kick into the corners, and him and Rosie play 7 and 6 in club footy, and hopefully we'll get the benefit of that today. And we've got some handy blokes all over the field, so look, if we can gel the best we can and play as best we can as a team in the short amount of time, I'm sure we'll give it a good crack today.
Well, Nick, obviously important to get off to a strong start this morning. How's the preparation through the week been?
Yeah, it's been really good. We had a training run Thursday and yesterday, and the boys look good, so just looking to come together as a team. I think we should go well today.
Tell us about your side taking on the Northern Rivers. Of course, last year it was a win to Northern Rivers when you met, but things have changed, and obviously you're looking to turn that result around.
Yeah, it's a bit different side to last year, and the same goes for Northern Rivers, so clean slate. I think we're looking to get a win today. Like I said before, the boys are training good, so we're ready to go.
Cooler conditions here in Bathurst today. Perhaps that might count in your favour against the Northerners?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's a bit dewy out there, so you have to be careful with our ball control and stuff like that. So, it is a bit fresh, but we'll be ready for it.
Well, Nick Skinner, the Riverina captain, he sure is ready to go. So what we might do, we might take our final break and come back here to Carrington Park here in Bathurst for week 2 of the AAMI Country Rugby League Championships.
Nice. Nurse?
Sexy nurse.
What's Matty going as?
Cat! Trevor! Trevor's in the trees!
I got this.
Accidents can be chaotic. Luckily, you can capture exactly what happened with our AAMI Access app.
You can come down now, Neil.
I don't think I can.
You're with AAMI.
So let's go through the Riverina side. At the fullback, we have Telly Ager. On the wings is Mile and also Lyons. The centre pairings of Lei and O'Sullivan. Rosa McCarthy will go to 5'8" and halfback. Cowan, the prop, in number 8. James Luff in 9. Pike in 10. Cameron Wu in 11. Nick Skinner, the captain, in 12. And Matt Wakefield locking the scrum. The interchange for Riverina, Aaron Bryan, Warren Lloyd, David Cowan and Mike Aya-Opo. And the coach is Josh Cale. So let's go through the Northern Rivers side as they'll take to the field against Riverina. At fullback we have Brett Kelly. On the wings is Mitchell Cruz and Billy King. the centre combinations of Howell and Thomas. The 6 and 7 is Chris King and Paul O'Neill. The back rowers, they look this way. Tim James, Sam O'Dear, Dean Murphy, Jonty Van de Shore, Josh Sleeber and Jack Durheim. The interchange bench for the Rivers, Green, Knight, Roberts, Elliott and Booth. So there's the kick-off. Week 2 of the Amy Country Rugby League Carnival between Riverina and the Northern Rivers. And it's the Riverina boys. First use of the football as they approach their own 30-metre line. They'll play the football in the opening set of 6. Back to their big prop in Andrew Cowan. He developed well at the Albury Thunder through the premiership years down there throughout the Riverina. Now this is Nick Skinner. Back to the left-hand side. They're going to bang the kick downfield off the boot of Rose. Going in between the fullback and the winger. Going back there is Brett Kelly at the back. He comes from Northern United. Let's see what the Northern Rivers have got in their first use of the football. This is the AAMI Country Championships coming out of Carrington Park here in Bathurst. You're on www.crlnsw.com.au. In commentary this afternoon, myself, Peter Jolly, with Michael Golikoff, as the Northern Rivers just outside their own 30-metre line. Look for the kick now off the boot of King. It goes straight down to the winger out there in David Milne. He's got the welcoming reception party led by not 1, not 2, but 3 over the top MG, and he's on his back 30 metres out from his own goal line.
Well, Riverina looking to enjoy the opening stages of this match. They worked a good first set of 6 and then kicking early for some good field position. They didn't really let Northern Rivers out of their red zone, and already we see Riverina working it up towards the halfway line.
This is Wakefield. He plays for the young Cherry Pickers. Now they advance it to the halfway line. This is Cowan. Back through the middle, the 5/8 offloading. They're offloading at every opportunity. As you can see, this is Rose. 22 years of age. He's strong face and he's got plenty of skill. The 5/8. Here's the kick downfield. Billy King sees it going into his possession on his 10-metre line before he's been upended there by some great Riverina defence from O'Sullivan. So the Rivers coming outside their own 20-metre line here on the Country Rugby League scoreboard. We're locked up between Riverina and the Northern Rivers. We've had 4 minutes gone here on the scoreboard as they now advance it to their own 30-metre line. So both teams just settling out one another here. Here's the kick going away from the fullback in Telliaga. Got his hand to it to keep it into the field of play. He's done exceptionally well, the live wire fullback, and the cover comes through MG and they pounce on him 10 metres out from their own goal line.
Well, the fullback Telliaga had to make it a play it there because the kick from Northern Rivers came with inside the 40 and a 40-20 was looming, but he did well to keep the ball in the field of play. And now let's see if Riverina can turn up the screws and force an error inside inside Riverina's territory.
So Tim James over the top in defence from the Northern Rivers. So Riverina get a flat pass. This is Wakefield. As I mentioned, plays for the young Cherry Pickers. They advance it now through their number 11 in Cameron Wu. An absolute workhorse. He's the captain coach of the Gundagai Tigers as well. Kelly, he sees this ball going in towards his own in-goal area. He's got all the Leafs in around that ball, but he has done exceptionally well to beat one. He's down the sideline. The cover's coming across, and they push him in a touch. Well, Riverina, they had to scramble exactly what they had to do, and they've got the ball back now, Michael, through the scrum, 30 metres out from the Rivers line.
Well, both teams playing quite structured and well-disciplined sets in the opening exchanges here, but this time it was Kelly there who just took his chances down the sideline and maybe didn't treat the sideline with the respect it needed, and he was bundled over touch. So first early turnover of possession comes to the favour of Riverina. They'll get this scrum to pack down about 40 metres out from the Northern Rivers try line.
So Kyle McCarthy puts the ball in, former Country Bulls rep. He's played a bit of Newcastle Rugby League as well, Kyle McCarthy. Played for 2 years in the local Country Rugby League competition up there. This is Brent Pike, veteran front rower for the Riverina. Of course, their coach is Josh Cale. They throw the dummy. This is Rose. He's inside the Rivers 20-metre zone. They come back through their big prop again. This is Cowan from the Albury Thunder, looking for first points in the match. Back to McCarthy. Great ball. Lyons will score. Jack Lyons, a speed machine. He's come through the South City junior ranks, and Riverina strike first blood on the CRL scoreboard. They lead 4-0.
Vision to see there, Jack Lyons camped out against the sideline, unmarked. A huge overlap was beckoning there for the maroon and gold men from the Riverina, and a long floating pass out there hit Jack Lyons perfectly, and he able to stroll over unopposed for the first 4-pointer of this match, and really that telling error for Northern Rivers to surrender possession coming out of our own red zone just a few moments ago has proved costly.
Well, as we just mentioned, he's come through the Riverina ranks. Very strong competition down there. And South City is one of those teams in the competition. And so far this year for South City, he has scored up around 5 individual tries. So he has started this match where he has left off. So Riverina now with the kick. 21 metres out. Looking to turn the try into 6. But waved away. So no change on the CRL scoreboard. We've had 8 minutes here. Riverina first blood. They lead by 4 points to 0.
Well, James Love there just didn't get that ball away cleanly. Hooked it across the face of the upright. So not the ideal start to his conversion attempts this afternoon, but they enjoy a 4 points to 0 lead on the scoreboard at the moment. And interestingly, where that try was scored in this southwestern corner, it's the field covered with leaves as the autumn leaves fall in Bathurst.
MG and myself, we've been here for the last 24 hours. A fairly heavy fog around here this morning. We stayed up at the ridges up at Mount Panorama, and we awoke to an absolute blanket of fog. You couldn't even see in front of your nose this morning, but the fog slowly drifting, and the locals have told us come midday it should be warming up to about 14, 15 degrees. That's a hot day here in Bathurst in this time of the world. Here's the kick going downfield. This is Brett Kelly. He diffuses the situation at the back before the defence comes through, led there by James Luff. He's from the Gundagai side. He also spent the last 2 years with the West's Tigers, James Luff, in the New South Wales Cup before joining Gundagai.
These Northern Rivers players just haven't had a good shake of it at the moment. They've played a lot of the opening exchanges in their own half, camped within their own 40. They haven't really had a sniff of the Riverina try line. It's important that they can get there soon and ask a few questions.
Joining commentary by Michael Golikoff. We're coming out of Carrington Park here in Bathurst for week 2 of the AAMI Country Championships. This is Lions. Picked up the first try in the opening minutes of this clash. This is Billy King over the top. It's the Riverina side, looking to go up through the middle, making valuable metres up the middle of the Riverina's defence so far. This is Rose giving it back to Wakefield. And the young cherry picker will play it 41 metres out. From Rose, it comes back on the infield to Telliaga. He's been picked up and thrown into the ground there from Chris King. Luff. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Rose. Putting in the kick downfield. Heading away from Kelly. He goes across, collects the football. The Northern United fullback, representing Northern Rivers here today. And he's going to be playing the football, MG, on his own 20-metre line. So good defence here from Riverina. They're not allowing the Rivers to go far thus far.
Well, this match well disciplined from both sides so far. No penalties, but, well, as I say that, it's the commentator's curse. And that's really the first rub of the green for Northern Rivers so far in this match, because the Riverina side have been playing mistake-free football, and they've really had the Northern Rivers men camped within their own half.
Well, we spoke earlier, Michael did, to Scott Sattler. Third year as coach for Northern Rivers. He played over 203 first-grade games. It all started for Scotty Sattler back in 1992 when he got his first-grade debut with the Gold Coast. And from there, he's had success with Easts, the South Queensland Crushers, Panthers and the Tigers. Who could forget that try-saving tackle in the 2003 grand final when Penrith beat the Roosters? Lost ball here from the Rivers.
Well, the coach you're just speaking of there, Scott Sattler, won't be happy with what he's just seen there. The first real chance for Northern Rivers to apply some pressure to the Riverina try line, and they've come up with an unforced error, and that'll be a sigh of relief for the men from the Riverina, because they were about to feel what the Northern Rivers could do, and it just all amounted to a fairly unsubstantial effort.
11 new players given the chance to represent Northern Rivers here today. So their squad, their average age is up around 21, 22 years of age. So far they're down by 4 on the CRL scoreboard. But just going back to that grand final, of course, Michael Golikoff, you were there broadcasting that grand final. And that was just grand final folklore, I guess, that brilliant covering tackle from Scotty Sattler. It was nerve-pinching stuff, wasn't it?
I was thrilled to be a part of in terms of a commentary point of view that day, Peter. And, you know, the Sattler name is so synonymous in rugby league, and particularly both father and son have grand final folk legend stories to, you know, to be able to dine out on for the rest of their lives, as we see Riverina now starting to look back towards the Northern Rivers try line.
Of course, Scott Sattler, the son of John Sattler, the former Australian prop in his own right, as Riverina searching for their second try of the first half, leading by 4 points to nil on the CRL scoreboard. They come back now through Teliaga. The defence was brutal, and it had to be to stop him in his tracks. This is O'Sullivan. Back comes the Luff. This is Wakefield. He's been very busy, the lock forward for Riverina. Luff again. This is Rose kicking, ricocheted, comes back to Teliaga. Was it played at? We'll find out shortly. They're trying to bring him into the ground, and the tackle count is now restarted. 6 more tackles coming up now for Riverina. They're under the pump, the Northern Rivers. They're brushing off tackle as it will. Lelai, he's dropped down on his back, 5 metres away. Rivers back on their own goal line. Luff has put it down with the goal line wide open, Michael Golikoff.
Well, the Northern Rivers men are feeling a big sigh of relief there, because they were under the pump. And in fact, maybe they're not, because they're protesting here the referee's decision. Somehow he's seen fit to award the Riverina side a scrum loose head and feet. So I'm not quite sure how he's come up with that decision.
Well, Michael Lace, his touch judges assisting him, Billy Greatbatch and Chris Redding. So Riverina, another chance to strike. McCarthy, back to O'Sullivan. He finds Lyons. He'll go all the way. He's over for the second try for Riverina, 22 years of age. We spoke about he's got plenty of skill. Well, that was right on display for everyone to see right there.
He had plenty of work to do there, and he looked to be wrapped up by his opposite number, Billy King, but he just managed to, at the last minute, shrug off that tackle from King and then have a second go and dive over in that, what we already spoke about, rather leafy southwestern corner here at Carrington Park. Well, you talk about a rake on the football field. We might need one in another sense here at Carrington Park today. It makes a little bit of interesting viewing. Of course, we've seen snow on football fields before, but not sure if I can remember seeing a field covered with leaves like this before.
And on the screen right now, those Leafs, there they are. Thousands of them. Beautiful willow trees here throughout Bathurst. Beautiful colour. I'm sure it won't come into play that much, but a nice effect off the lush turf. Nice contrast. No change to the CRL scoreboard. It's 8 points to 0. Riverina over the Northern Rivers side.
Well, it hasn't been an ideal start to his goal-kicking day today for James Luff. So far, missing 2 from 2. But on the other side of the coin, Jack Lyons couldn't be smiling anymore. He's got 2 tries for the Riverina side, and they lead by 8 points to 0 here at Carrington Park in Bathurst. And yeah, I don't think the leaves will make too much of an effect in terms of the conditions here. But as you say, it is an interesting talking point.
Of course, this ground hosted an NRL fixture earlier on in the NRL season. And what great support from the locals to come on down here to Carrington Park here today to support the Amy CRL Senior Championships. And credit to everybody down in the Riverina. Of course, the CRL manager down in that part of the world is David Skinner. Had a fair bit to do with David Skinner when I was working down there for ABC Riverina Grandstand. And I know how much work he has put into the development of not just the players down there, but also into the facilities, along with Darryl Kelly, who is the president of the Wagga Rugby League. Now, of course, he's up there with the Gold Coast Titans. So it's all coming together quite nicely for the Riverina. They haven't won the championships, though, in quite some time. It's been dominated by Illawarra and Newcastle in the last decade. They're close, aren't they? Penalty, a rare penalty. We haven't seen many penalties so far in this match, MG.
Well, they've all, the first going to Northern Rivers and then a couple in quick succession to Riverina, which is really going to help their cause. If they can get another try here under the black dot, it might help their goal-kicking assignment this morning. But let's see what they can do here.
So Luff giving away to their winger in a moment. This is the centre in Lelii. Comes back on the infield. And as you can see, only 4 metres out from the Rivers line. Riverina now come back now through Skinner. Good run there by the second rower. Wakefield back to McCarthy. The ball's gone backwards. They'll have to go away and collect the ball on the 30-metre line. This is O'Sullivan back to Telliaga. From the Vikings in Wellington. He plays for the Griffith side. He's only been around here for the last 2 years. This is McCarthy. Little kick in the in-goal area. And the ball goes over the dead ball line. So we'll come back out to the 20 for a tap restart to the Northern Rivers.
Well, the Riverina side have made it quite clear that they're prepared to attack down their right-hand edge. Again, it was Jack Lyons who was camped right out there, but the pass was ill-directed and that really slowed that attacking rate down for the Riverina side. But they've shown their arm. They've scored 2 tries down that side, and that's the side that they're going to continue to focus on here today.
This is Durheim coming out of Lismore Marist. Now they try and probe a gap up towards the 40-metre line. So 8 points to 0 on the CRL scoreboard. Northern Rivers charging inside the Riverina half. 41 metres out. They'll play it back there now to O'Neill. He finds Howe. Brushed away from one, palmed away from another one, and he takes a tackle there of James Luff. This is O'D, the captain. Back to O'Neill. Sleeber. He's up from Cudgeon.
They need a repeat set of 6 here, Peter, but they're going to put up a bomb. They still might get one out of this.
Chris King go high to the air. They come through. Diffused brilliantly at the back there from Riverina. Now they've been back slammed 10 metres out from their own goal line.
Well, Northern Rivers have only had one try-scoring opportunity so far in this match, and it was one that went begging through to their own error. And other than that, they've had no chances to ask any questions of the Riverina goal line defence.
So the defence, led of course there from the Northern Rivers, Dean Murphy, plays for Murwillumbah. Back to the Dreadlock King and Andrew Cowan. As we mentioned, plays locally down in the Riverina with the Albury Thunder. He's picked up a few premierships as well. Been one of the dominant teams down there throughout the Riverina, the Albury Thunder. Here's the kick now, going out wide to the winger out there. On this occasion, it's Mitchell Cruz, also another one from the Lismore Marist club up there on the mid-north coast. So we've had 20 minutes here on the CRL scoreboard. So we're halfway through the first half. You're with Peter Jolly and Michael Golikoff coming out of Carrington Park for round 2 of the CRL Senior Championships of 2015. This is Hal. He's got nowhere to go, stopped in his tracks by Lloyd. Nice story from Lloyd. He's come across from England, actually, Michael. And big raps on him. Plays front row, as you can see there, and also has a bit of mobile ability out on the wing, so he's a very versatile player. This is King. Probably wasn't the best kick he was looking for. Gives the Riverina the chance to offload. This is Lyons, and he'll play the ball on his own 40-metre line. Telliaga, he decides to go for a scoot, the New Zealander. As I mentioned, his second year playing in the Country Rugby League. Played for the Vikings over in Wellington. Now to Iapoa. Another one from Wellington. Now with the Griffith Waratahs. So another penalty coming up here to Riverina. Holding down in the tackle for too long, Rivers. 18 minutes to go. And James Luff will send this one sailing towards the touchline. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to find touch. And the Rivers side come away with the ball. Well, it doesn't matter what level of rugby league you play, Michael. You just got to find touch.
Yeah, that silly mistake there to not find touch. You get the penalty, and if you can't convert it into field position, it all goes begging. This is a good hit up there by Dean Murphy, and now he's earned his side of penalty, and Dean has had a week of adversity, some tragedy with a close friend and a funeral to attend through the week, and has made it up here to Bathurst last night, flying into Sydney and then driving up to arrive late in Bathurst. He didn't want to miss this match. It's been a tough week for him, but good to see him out in the field.
Thoughts there from Michael Golikoff. Van der Schuur from Mooloolaba in the squad. This is his teammate up at Mooloolaba in Shane Knight. 31 metres away from the Riverina line. They're trailing by 8 points to 0 here on the CRL scoreboard. This is Murphy. Back to Durheim. Kelly chiming in. They're live wire. Their fullback. 12 metres out from the Riverina line. O'Dear, the captain. Back there now through the back line. O'Neill away to King. Short ball. Van der Schuur. He'll go over. First try for the Rivers. Riverina, they still lead by 8 points to 4. Kick to come.
Well, it's important for the Northern Rivers men to get a try here. They hadn't had too many opportunities to ask any serious questions, and they looked like they were in at that time. Certainly playing with some good structure and able to pass the ball out to their right-hand edge, and then that strong second-row charge by Jonty Van der Schuur from Mooloolaba was able to slice through and dive over to grab the first try of the day for the green, yellow and white men. And, well, they have a chance to convert this one and just narrow that margin that the Riverina side was able to amass in the earlier stages of this first half.
So 16 minutes out from half-time. They needed that. And Scott Sattler, the coach, will be pleased that his boys have been able to cross the scoreboard to give us a 4-point ball game here with a kick to come right out on the eastern touchline as the sun tries to peek through the heavy clouds. So this is week 2 of the Amy 2015 Senior Country Championships, Carrington Park, Bathurst. The venue here this afternoon. Here's King, 10 metres in from touch. It looks good. It's a ripper. So try converted. Riverina and Northern Rivers. Riverina have got their noses in front by 8 points to 6.
Well, they do have their noses in front, but if they can score some more tries, and if Chris King can kick like that, they, rather the Northern Rivers side might be able to get their noses in front, because that was quite a good goal kick and gives the Northern Rivers men a much-needed confidence boost.
So the Northern Rivers on the bring back. This is Dean Murphy. Back to Kelly from Northern United. Put down there from James Luff from Gundagai. Here's another one. So a few penalties creeping into this game as we go into the back end of the first half.
Brett Kelly giving instructions to his teammates there. The momentum might be slowly starting to shift to the favour of the Northern Rivers side. Certainly spurred on by that last try.
Well, there's only one place today you'd rather be. Well, not where you'd rather be, where you want to be. And that's right here for the Amy Country Championships. A big afternoon of rugby league coming up. Another penalty.
So piggyback penalties here for Northern Rivers. Don't take a quick tap. Kick for the sideline, get some more field position. Tell you what, if you're here today, though, a nice meat pie wouldn't go astray. They do make some good meat pies in Bathurst, I can tell you.
Knowing you, you've probably had half a dozen on the way up from Sydney. And half a dozen is probably a very rough estimation. You're like Gary Harley. You suck the tuck shop dry. Backer comes down tonight.
Except my pant size is about 10 less than the great man Gary Harley.
Like your beanie too to keep those ears warm. Very nice. Wouldn't mind one of them. Back to the action, as Michael would probably say. I know what Michael's thinking. Back to the left-hand side of the park. This is O'Neill. He's dropped down 4 metres out from the line. It's good to see that your Lowe's account's working well with that beanie. Back to the right-hand side. This is Durheim.
And he's just popped the ball out there next to the Amy posts, which is disappointing because they were looking very likely Northern Rivers. They were slow out of the box. Riverina dominated the first 15 or 20 minutes or so, but now the pendulum is slowly swinging in favour of the Northern Rivers side.
Of course, Michael has broadcasted rugby league for 20-odd years through Sydney media. He's seen a lot of rugby league. How do you rate this Amy Rugby League competition so far after the first 20 minutes?
Well, this is a very entertaining match. As I said, Riverina opening the exchanges and looking like they were maybe going to be in set for an easy day at the office, but Northern Rivers have switched on, and the arm wrestle is really on here, and I think this could be anything before even half-time. Wouldn't be surprised to see the lead change.
This is Lloyd. Backer comes now through Nick Skinner. Former Manly NRL player, captain coach of South City. Of course, South City current ladder leaders in the Group 9. The kick goes in between fullback and the winger. This is Kelly. He's got his winger if he wants to offload it to the commentary side, but Kelly says, no, I'm just going to take the tackle. And now here's another penalty coming up for Rivers on their own 20-metre line.
Well, this is almost 4 penalties in a row for Northern Rivers. They certainly getting some good, valuable marches down the field, and that will help them narrow this margin. They're only trailed by 4 points now, so 2 points, I beg your pardon, 8 points to 6. Those unconverted tries from Riverina have really invited Northern Rivers back in.
Now to Kelly. Probing run. Went for a scoot, picked up 10 metres for his side. This is OG, the captain. Put away there by Kyle McCarthy. Backer comes to Kelly. Away now to Shane Knight. 20 metres away from the Riverina line. O'Neill, back to King. He sees the gap. He sees the try line. He'll roll over and go close. Cut down, a metre out from the line. The Rivers, they'll kick for themselves. Trapped in goal is Riverina. We're going to have a goal line dropout. More pressure coming up for Riverina.
I can't believe King can score there. He almost tripped over his own bootlaces at the end, but he did the right thing. He knew that if he made a second chance at a go at it, it would have been ruled a double movement and a penalty. So good, calm, collected thoughts there. He didn't get the try, but they've come up with the next best result, a line dropout, which is quite a handy one. It goes sailing over the halfway line and makes another 20 metres on top of that.
What a goal line drop out here in the Amy Senior Championships. That's the longest one we've seen after 2 weeks of country rugby league. Brilliant. This is Mitchell Cruz, the winger. This is Dean Murphy from a Willumbar. Back to Kelly. Picked up good, valuable metres for his side from this region all first half. Now this is O'D. Back there now to O'Neill. This is Durheim, stepping, weaving, and Cameron Wu. Swamps on him. Ball played back to O'D. Away to O'Neill. He takes the line on. McCarthy, he brings him down. Back to O'Dear. Now to Durheim. Takes a tackle there of Lloyd. O'Dear again. Across there, it's time to King. They're going to kick for their winger in Cruz. He flicks it back on the infield. Who wants to get to the football? Well, Rose is there to save the day for Riverina. Well, we just about saw everything that rugby league can happen in that little small passage of play.
I'm just waiting to see how this is going to all pan out, because I might have even seen a knock-on by Riverina there. Haven't seen which way the referee is going to award this scrum feed. But Northern Rivers, some enterprising play there. And in fact, they have won the scrum feed here. So Riverina, in trying to clean up the ball, have come up with an error and lost the ball. So another set of 6 for Northern Rivers to try and get their noses in front before the halftime hooter sounds.
So Riverina up by 8 points to 6. Back to King. Here come Northern Rivers. They'll go from dummy half. Oh dear. Plays it back. Now on to O'Neill. He finds Sleeber. He's on his back. A metre away from the Riverina line. Looking to take points here. They may well be into touch. They do. Unfortunately, they're Billy King. He was pushed into touch.
Yeah, well, the big man there probably was hoping he'd be able to use his strength to keep inside the field of play there, but he was bundled over to touch. And again, so close but so far for Northern Rivers. In the last 5 minutes, they've had 2 what would have been almost certain tries just slip away from them at the last moment.
Well, I think their coach, Scott Sattler, he'll be pleased going into half-time by just down by 2. There's signs there, Michael, that if they can just get it over the line, they could, well, go with Riverina for the full 80 minutes here today.
Well, they had to withstand plenty of pressure in the opening 20 and also fend off 2 tries against them. But to their credit, they didn't let that affect them too much, and they've really switched on here. And now 4 pass against Riverina will give the Northern Rivers side another chance to have a shot at the Riverina try line before half-time.
Well, Warren Lloyd will now give it back pretty much himself to Northern Rivers. It was Warren Lloyd who ended up getting that ball for Riverina, but unfortunately it's come back to the Northern Rivers. About 21 metres out from the line they are, centre of the field. So the ball will go in through their halfback in Paul O'Neill. He sends it away there to Michael Thomas. He's from Ballina. Working it back through the middle, Alwyn Roberts. He's from Northern United. Oh dear. O'Neill, nice pass on the inside to Howe. Fended off one. Ball comes out the back. They've got to go away for it. And they're cleaned up there from Nathan Rose. The 5'8" from Riverina. Now this is Brett Kelly. He's been put on his back. 4th tackle coming up for the Rivers. Back then out of the lock in Durheim. He offloads it back there to Murphy. Did that go forward? It did.
Well, the crowd was calling for it. My vantage spot wasn't ideal. I didn't see it as being forward, but I say the referee and certain members of the grandstand saw it a different way. And the pressure valve released now for Riverina. They get a chance to slow things down and try and work it out from their own territory. And certainly some big men in the front row for Riverina, Peter.
Indeed. Wouldn't want to be walking up an alleyway and meeting that front rower, would you? We'll be having a bit of an insight into our man there. We'll just leave that as a bit of a teaser because we've got some information that we'll share with you next time as he gets the football. As we see now, Riverina being picked up. And they try and drive O'Sullivan into the ground. Now they come back through the middle. This is Cowan from the Albury Thunder. So 8 points to 6 on the CRL scoreboard. Week 2 of the Country Rugby League Championships. We're coming out of Carrington Park, then Bathurst. Telliga down the sideline. Got it back to Milne. He's away. Touched. Could be 6 to go. Referee says...
Well, he initially gave her a ruling, but maybe he's to play to continue, but maybe he's got a word from his sideline official. He's caught up play, but he's going to award a scrum to Riverina, so they'll still get another use of the football, another chance to extend their lead. And I think that's what their coach, Josh Kale, will be hoping for, because he can smell the Northern Rivers side charging towards the lead. They still trail by 2 points, Northern Rivers, but it's been all the green, gold and white men in this last 15 minutes or so.
Well, Sam O'Dear on screen right now, the captain of Northern Rivers, looking a little bit worse for wear, but they breathe them tough in Murwillumbah, and he'll be sucking them in and just getting on with the job at hand. So the scrum, as you can see, being formed 30 metres away from the Northern Rivers line, with Riverina up by 8 points to 6 here on the CRL scoreboard. This is McCarthy. They come back now through the commentary side. This is where they've had a little bit of success with their first try. This is Telliga, and Johnny will play the ball back. Now away this time, the Lions. He's straight through. He'll score the 3rd try for Riverina. Well, just before the break, Scott Sattler from the Northern Rivers, he wouldn't have wanted that.
No, and it's been a bit of a mismatch this afternoon on that wing. Jack Lyons has basically been able to really put on a dazzling performance against his opposite number, Billy King, who's come up empty on 3 occasions now. But to his credit, Jack Lyons, he knows what he has to do. He knows his way to the try line, and that's, as I say, a big boost for the Riverina side to go up another try. Josh Kale, the coach, will be happy with that.
Well, Jack Lyons, as we mentioned, he's the try-scoring freak in the Group 9, and he's picked up a few more for his own personal try tally this year.
Little James Luff is on the bench at the moment. He missed the 2 earlier conversions for Riverina, so this time we see Kyle McCarthy put on his kicking boots.
Looks good. He's got it. Flags are up here at Carrington Park here in Bathurst. Week 2 of the CRL Senior Championships. And Riverina, a handy buffer going into half-time. And don't forget, a massive day of rugby league coming up here at Carrington Park. Later today, we'll have the second match. It'll feature the Western Rams and the Northern Tigers. And of course, you'll be able to watch that match on the separate link. So this link will go through to the full-time Hooter and then jump across to our second stream link, and you'll be able to watch and enjoy Western Rams up against the Northern Tigers. But it's the Riverina coming forward. And this is their big number 18. Well, incredible giant of a man. As we see on their 40-metre line, they'll spin it through the back line. The 12ers with it. This is Skinner, captain coach of South City, playing the ball back as the sun tries to peep through here. The fog has disappeared, and that's great to see. This is McCarthy going high. Billy King's underneath it. Kelly's also underneath it. But at the end of the day, our referee in Michael Lace, he says, Riverina, well, you're inside the 10 from the kick. So a relieving penalty here for the Northern Rivers just before we go into Oranges at half-time. It's 14 points to 6 on the CRL scoreboard. Riverina in front.
Well, more so of a relief for the Northern Rivers side because that bomb defusal wasn't ideal and it presented what could have been a chance for Riverina to score another try, but that was to be denied due to being in front of the kicker, as you say, and Northern Rivers now up towards the halfway line.
Only seconds to go in the first half. Rivers, what are they going to do now? Roberts putting in that kick, flying through his Cruz. He puts it on the toe again. He'll get it back and score. What a try by Mitchell Cruz. He kicked it ahead for himself. He got the ball, he got the bounce. Try time.
Cruz missile for Mitchell Cruz. He certainly showed lightning speed there with that soccer skills. And if I can throw in another analogy, you talk about Robbie Cruz for the Socceroos, both speed and footwork. Maybe he's got a dual code career ahead of him, Mitchell Cruz.
Impressive stuff. Just take a look at the replay of that. Kicking ahead for himself when nothing was pretty much on. He created an absolute stunning try for himself. And of course, Mitchell Cruz plays up in Lismore for the Marist. And I'm sure everybody in Lismore will want to have a glimpse, will want to have a lesson as far as kicking and chasing the ball in the coming weeks from Mitchell Cruz. He's the Cruz missile. You'll love that, MG.
Well, it was just great thinking and good skill. I mean, he had the presence of mind. You know that the seconds were ticking away, and like the sands through the hourglass, he could feel that halftime siren about to sound in the background. He took his chances and executed so perfectly, and the speed to burn, really impressive stuff. And as I said throughout this call in the first half, this match really shaping up to be an arm wrestle.
So Chris King, he missed the championships last year. He's back this year for Northern Rivers, and he converts the try. And what a brilliant one it was from Mitchell Cruz. So half-time here on the CRL scoreboard. Riverina just in front by 2 points. It's 14 points to 12 right here on the CRL scoreboard. What we might do, we'll take a break and come back for the second 40. You're with Peter Jolly and Michael Golikoff. We're here at Carrington Park in Bathurst for the 2015 Senior Championships. A break and back for the next 40.
Nice. Nurse?
Sexy nurse.
What's Matty going as?
Cat! Trevor! 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 Trevor's in the trees!
I got this.
Accidents can be chaotic. Luckily, you can capture exactly what happened with our Amy Access app.
You can come down now, Neil.
I don't think I can.
You're with Amy.
And welcome back to Carrington Park, week 2 of the CRL 2015 Senior Championships. It's Riverina leading by 14 points to 12. It's a tight ball game. Back in the commentary box, I'm joined by Michael Golikoff.
And it's a cool day here in Bathurst, 10 degrees at the moment, but as you say, the sun's starting to shine through. And who's going to shine through at the end of this 40 minutes, because the game evenly points at the moment?
So a tight one in the first match of the day with Peter Jolly and Michael Golikoff. We haven't seen the country championships played here in Bathurst for quite some time. You got to go back to 2007. The last time the CRL brought the senior championships to the region. And it's great to see that the fans of the Country Rugby League out here today supporting the championships. Milne, he'll go away and collect it. Bit of an awkward sit-up, wasn't it? For the former Raider and Cowboy. He's now returned to Griffith to coach the Griffith Panthers as well. Back out to their 40-metre line. It's Riverina leading by 2 points. This is Lelai. He now goes across field. They're up quickly, and they have to be. And this is Thomas. He'll play the football back now on the centre of the field. Comes back then out to Rose. He finds Cowan. He's from the Albury Thunder. Having a big season down there in the Riverina competition in the Group 9. Last tackle coming up, Riverina. We know that they've got a good high kicking game and also a low kicking game on them. They choose for their second option and put it along the carpet, the lush turf here at Carrington Park. And the Riverinas go away and collect it. And that was Billy King from Northern United. And David Cowan, again from the Albury Thunder, in there from the Riverina. 2-point ball game. Week 2 of the Amy Country Championships. This is Howell. Back to Kelly. Legs chopped down from underneath him from Byrne. Well, he was able to beat Byrne, but Nick Skinner says, come back here. You're not going any further than your halfway line. Vandershaw from Wollumbar. 10 metres inside the Riverina end of the park. This is Paul O'Neill from Lismore Marist. Last tackle coming up now for Rivers. Little deft kick in towards the end goal area. Telliaga's got to play at it. He's got to beat men. He can't beat his first line. He's wrapped up in goal. Goal line dropout.
Well, both teams have come out with a fairly switched on focus in this second 40 minutes, as they know that it is a game that's well and truly in the balance, but Riverina being forced to execute a line dropout here, and the Northern Rivers side have really started this match a lot stronger than they did the opening 40.
So Kyle McCarthy puts boot to the ball, and it's gone to the halfway line. And this is Dean Murphy. He brings it back, and he's been crunched. 30 metres away from the Riverina line. Durheim collects the shoulder there of David Cowan and Warren Lloyd. 2-point ball game. Back to O'Neill. He now finds Vandershaw. 3 in the tackle there from Riverina. Back to O'Dea. Spinning it from west to east. This is Paul O'Neill. Ball pops out. Well, they had their chance there, Rivers. Just couldn't quite execute the pass. The ball's gone straight through him. Scrum will pack down, but they'll get the ball back here nonetheless. 12 metres out from the Riverina goal line.
Well, I think the referee said that the Riverina side has knocked the ball forward in the tackle, and somehow that's come to the benefit of Northern Rivers. Just when thought that attacking raid had come to an end, they're going to get another chance at it here, and this could be their chance to get in front for the first time today.
So deep back line, spread to the right. They take the line on. This is Alwyn Roberts from Northern United. Trailing by 2. Back to Kelly. Aaron Byrne wraps him up, ball and all. Riverina under the pump here. O'Dea sends it back to the left-hand side. They're charging their way through, but they're going to be held up in goal. And, of course, that was their big prop, who couldn't quite get the ball down. And that was Tim James, the only casino representative here this afternoon for Rivers. O'Neill back then out to Durheim. He straightens things up. He's put down. 2 metres out from the Riverina line, trailing by 2. Back to O'Neill. He finds King. Away it comes to Thomas. He'll play the ball. Last tackle. He's lost that football with the Leafs all around him.
Well, that's a disappointing end of that set of 6 there. A bomb perhaps or another grubber in goal could have really seen more pressure applied to Riverina, but that's not the way it's going to pan out on this occasion, and Riverina will get a chance to try and work it out of their own red zone, which they've been camped in for the last 5 minutes. It's been a very strong start for Northern Rivers in the second half, but unable to post points at the moment. The score attendant not troubled so far in this second half.
So coming off their own goal line, leading by 2 points. Riverina in their maroon and gold stripe strip. Back there down to Teliaga. Big palm into O'Dear. And O'Dear comes back and collects him along with Tim James. Now to O'Sullivan. Inside. Rivers territory by 2 metres. Back to Cowan. Heavy collision there from Tim James. Now this is Rose. Back to Cowan. Away to Lloyd. 21 metres away from the Rivers goal line. Back to Rose. He's going to go high to the air. Leali's underneath it. But Kelly saves the day for Rivers, their fullback from Northern United, before he's been collected and brought down there by David Milne. Now they scoot from dummy half. They're over their 30. There's a foot race over the 40. Still going Cruz. He beat one. He's got the line in front of him. He's got 40 to go. He's running out of support, brushing away from tacklers before Teliaga puts him onto the ground. Here come the Riverside. Big numbers to the left. They've just got to put it through the hands. Back to Durheim. Great cover tackle from Riverina.
They try begging out to the left, but they can still go that way. They go to the right towards the posts.
Vandershaw, he's 2 metres out. Trailing by 2. Ball's on the ground, picked up and dropped on the goal line from Riverina. Well, they had their chances. They just couldn't put it together.
Well, what an outstanding run there by the Cruise missile down the right-hand edge there. He just kept going, dancing, weaving, and then put the afterburners on. Almost thought he had enough to get there, but he elected to play safety first, and I've got to give him credit for doing that so many times. You see players throw caution to the wind, and it results in an error, but no, he played safety first, came back in at that last stage, and then they really needed to keep sending it along the back line there, but Durham there just thought he'd take on the line himself, and unfortunately it didn't prove to be the right result and the right outcome for the Northern Riverside.
This is Lyons. Picked up a few tries. This is our New Zealand friend from Wellington, now with the Griffith Waratahs in Iapo. Backer comes down to Lelai, and he's going to be crunched on his 30-metre line. Of course, Lelai played for the New South Wales Cup with the Bulldogs and Cronulla. He's also coached the Griffith Waratahs to last year's grand final. And he's back here in the championships. This is Cameron Wu. He's the workhorse captain coach of the Gundagai Tigers. Back to Brown. Gives it across this time. And they're inside the Rivers territory by 10 metres. Back to Brown. They go to the right-hand side. This is O'Sullivan. He's 30 metres away from the Rivers line. Riverina coming back through the middle. McCarthy puts in a kick downfield. And it goes well over the dead ball line. Well, too much oomph on the kick there from Kyle McCarthy.
Well, McCarthy's kick there was not the direction he was looking for. It seemed as though he was channeling for the sideline to force the scrum and hold the Rivers boys down in their own red zone. It's been a really explosive start to this second stanza. First-class football here in the country championships, and both teams, they want to be the first to score in the second half, and neither side have been able to penetrate at the moment.
This is Jonty Vandershaw. Cowan gets off him. This is Kelly. Lelai puts him into the turf. Just short of the halfway line. 2-point ball game here. Back to their prop in Tim James. He's 42 metres out for the Riverina line. O'Dear sends it back to the left-hand side. This is Roberts and Cameron Wu over the top. 42 metres away from the goal line. Back there now to their lock in Durheim. And the Maris man couldn't quite get that ball away. He intended it to, but Cowan wrapped him up, ball and all. They'll kick off the boot now of King. Towering kick. Diffused brilliantly there from Riverina. Looking up into the sun and all. And Milne plays it back slowly to Teliaga. Vandershaw chops him down along there with O'Dear. Now this is Iapo. Barges his way out towards his own 30-metre line. Look at him, flicked it out the back as well. Teliaga, he beat one, still going. Beat 3. Can't get rid of the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, and they combine in defence. He'll play the football back now as they approach their halfway line here. This is McCarthy, former Country Bulls rep. Played in the Newcastle Rugby League for the last 2 years before going back down to the Riverina. O'Sullivan, he's down the sideline. He finds Lyons. Lyons will get there. Lyons is into touch though. He got there, but his foot beat the ball over the line. No try to the Riverina.
When maybe a fair outcome in the end there. I thought there was a questionable pass in the lead up to Lyons streaking away there. Whether it was a forward or not, maybe hard to tell from this angle, but certainly Lyons, he knows his way to the try line. He's already got 3 and was about to set up for the quadrilla here at Carrington Park.
And as you said, 3 tries, bagged a hat-trick for the Riverina. It's been the Lion show pretty much for the Maroon and the goal side. 27 minutes ago in the second half, 2-point ball game. Riverina, what a game of rugby league here at Carrington Park, here in Bathurst.
Well, this is a real arm wrestle for the ascendancy at the moment. Both sides have come out here to make a statement and win that mental war, but neither side are really able to stamp their authority at the moment. Maybe Riverina just enjoying the rub of the green at the moment as they make another break.
Here they go down the sideline. Cruises into open space. He'll kick for himself. They're coming through. Can Cruz kick it again? No, he can't. Picked up by Cameron Wu. And now here's a knock on. Cameron Wu, the captain coach of the Gundagai Tigers, just coming up with the tiniest of fumbles on his own goal line.
And Nick Skinner not happy about that ruling, I don't think. He's certainly asking the question of the referee. We weren't in a great spot to see it, but the referee has ruled that in attempting to clean up the ball, Riverina have knocked on, and further opportunity here for Northern Rivers to hit the front for the first time. They've trailed at every post, bar the kick-off, but a chance for them to get in front here.
Ball comes in. Away to O'Dea. He takes the line on. 2 metres away from the Riverina line, trailing by 2. Back to James. He barges his way close. Can he get it down? Referee says held up.
Fantastic goal line defence there from Riverina. Big man to stop there in James, but they were up to the assignment and the referee in a good spot to rule that he's been held up, so they'll get another chance to ask some more questions with the restart 10 metres out.
Asking their questions, aren't they? Back to King. He finds O'Neill. Ball and all tackle there. Comes through from not 1, but 2 Riverina players. Now this is Chris King. Back to Shannon Green. And the Cudgeon player. 4 metres away from taking Rivers to the front for the first time in this game. They throw the dummy. They go through. King. Referee calls it up. 10 out from the Riverina line.
Yeah, he's got a obstruction penalty here against Northern Rivers, so the Riverina side will be again happy to feel the blowtorch turned off, because it was Northern Rivers looking like they were set to take the lead for the first time today in this match, but again denied. And again, no score so far in the second half, and a narrow 2-point margin in favour of Riverina.
With Peter Jolly and Michael Golikoff coming out of Carrington Park here in downtown Bathurst for week 2 of the AAMI Championships for 2015. 40 metres away from the Rivers line. This is Cowan. Durheim downstairs. That was flat. Play on to Andrew Cowan in jersey number 8. Now to Brian. Away to McCarthy. Great ball. Lyons. He's over again. What can't he do today for Riverina?
Well, it's been a knockout fight in terms of the result. The 2 wingers on that side, Jack Lyons has absolutely clean bowled Billy King again. And Lyons is having a field day here at Carrington Park. And that try perhaps going against the run of play in terms of the ascendancy that Northern Rivers had been applying to the Riverina try line only moments ago, but full credit to Riverina. They worked it down the other end of the park and they've come home with a result, and that could be a telling factor in this match.
18 points to 12. Lions. Well, we've said it from the get-go. From the moment we pushed the green button for the first half, we said, look out for this electrifying speed machine. He's progressed through the ranks of South City, through the junior ranks, up to where he is right now, and that is representing the Riverina. So McCarthy, right out on the eastern touchline, looking to convert the try. Push to the left-hand side of the post. So no change here on the Country Rugby League scoreboard. Riverina. They control the match. They control the lead. They control the scoreboard here in the second half. But take nothing away from the Rivers. We know what they can do when they get good football in attack.
Well, it's important here for Scott Sattler's men to remain focused and composed, because they trail by 6 points on the scoreboard. A converted try will draw them level, and there's still plenty of time in this match to then ask further questions of the Riverina side. But Riverina, I'm expecting them to be buoyed by that last try and try and push that lead out a bit further.
22 minutes ago on the official scoreboard here at the ground. This is Brent Pike, one of the veteran front rowers for Riverina over a number of years. Lele dancing across field, crossing the halfway line before Alwyn Roberts puts him into the ground. Telliager out the back, 41 metres away from the Rivers line. Riverina with the football. They're going to kick off the boot of McCarthy. This time it will just find touch inside Rivers' 10-metre line.
And smart play there by Riverina, just to slow things down a little bit and start to dictate their terms on this match. They're leading by 6 points. They know that Northern Rivers have played quite strongly in this opening third quarter of this match here, but they can use that 6 point advantage to their favour and slow down the opportunities from Northern Rivers. They'll pave the way for a victory here at Carrington Park.
So the Northern Rivers in their green, yellow and white strip, ending on their backs, right on their own goal line, aren't they? As you can see there, the camera is taking you right into the action here. This is Michael Thomas up from Ballina. Now to the 20-metre line here at Carrington Park. A tight tussle unfolding, and the fans, not just from Bathurst, but the entourage have travelled up from Riverina and travelled down from the Northern Rivers to support their local squads here in the AAMI Championships of 2015. Milne goes straight to him. He's got speed to burn. Comes back to his 40-metre line before he's put down there from Michael Thomas. Lelai running now into the Ballina product in Michael Thomas. Assisted there from Shane Knight from Murwillumbah. Now McCarthy, he tries to do it himself. 40 metres away from the line, back to Wakefield. He'll straighten the play after a run of 15 metres. Back then out of the left, away to Rose. He'll kick for Lelai. They're coming through. Mills there. This will be interesting to see if they give the try to David Milne. They do. Another try to the Riverina. Well, that all came from nothing.
Yes, and disappointing for Northern Rivers not to clean up that football. They had players back there to do so, and it was just an awkward bounce. It bounced away, and no one could clean it up and get it out of trouble. And there to pick up the scraps and dive on it was David Milne, and that's going to be a potentially match-turning moment in this game.
Well, David Milne, a former Raider and Cowboy, he returned to Griffith to coach the Griffith Panthers. And now playing on the wing for the Riverina. And is that the try that's going to be enough for them to go on with it? The Rivers regrouping in their own in-goal area. Now to McCarthy from the touchline. So no change on the CRL scoreboard. We're inside the last 15 minutes of the second half. And it's 22-12, a 10-point ball game here. Riverina leaving the way over the Northern Rivers.
Well, they've got a bit of work to do now, Northern Rivers, but 2 converted tries can still win it. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility, but they really need to switch back on there. I thought that their heads went down a little bit after the previous Riverina try, which then paved the way for back-to-back Riverina tries. So can Northern Rivers dig deep and find something?
This is Brent Pike. Telliaga finding Dreadlock Cowan from the Albury Thunder. Leading by 10 points. This is Nick Skinner, captain coach of South Sydney. Current ladder leaders in the Group 9 competition. Of course, the grand final down there always played at McDonald's Park in Wagga Wagga. What a venue, of course. Darryl Kelly behind that 4 or 5 years ago to get that established for the Riverina. And of course, McDonald's Park paid host to this year's City versus Country game. And Bathurst, this is where we are for this one. Carrington Park, no stranger to NRL matches as well. Earlier this year, the NRL brought the Penrith Panthers across here to Bathurst for their clash. I think it was against the Gold Coast Titans. This kick's gone out on the full. So we'll go back to where he kicked it, and that was on their 30-metre line, the Rivers. So the pendulum, certainly, Michael, swinging back to the Riverina favour.
That's the way it's looking at the moment. And Northern Rivers, as I say, 2 converted tries to get them in front in this one and secure a victory. It's still well within their reach, but they need to really play some smart football and hold out the Riverina once more.
Cowan. Back there now, good hands there from McCarthy. He finds Wu. Intercepted! Riverina they go! Northern Rivers downfield. Off they go. This is Billy King being chased by Rose, but it's all going to be Billy King. He goes 80 metres for the Northern Rivers. Well, this game's not over yet.
Well, I've been a little bit critical of him so far, Billy King, because his opposite number has scored several tries against him, but he's clawed one of them back on that occasion and clawed a great intercept with a length of the field try. Showed great speed and determination, and that was a much-needed try. Out wide, though, will make the conversion attempt difficult, but nonetheless, 4 points is just what they needed.
Billy King. Credit to him. Look, he's just sucking them in. He's gone 80 metres to score that try, as Michael just alluded to, that gets them back into this contest within 13 minutes of full time. He's no slouch. Brilliant run. Speed to burn down that eastern touchline. The kick right out on the white chalk. And don't forget the Bathurst 200. That's the website behind him, .com.au. We're only a matter of minutes away from Panorama. Here's the kick from the sideline. So no change on the CRL scoreboard. Northern Rivers still trailing, but are they about to edge their way back into the contest? Will the Riverina side allow them to? We'll find out as we go inside the last 12 minutes here on the Country Rugby League. Week 2 of the championships coming out of Carrington Park here in Bathurst. So the Rivers side on the bring back through Mitchell Cruz. And Wakefield smashes into him along there with the veteran front rower in Pike. Back to Knight from Willumba. Luff around the top. Now, off their own 10-metre line, this is Howe. Crossing their 20, just short of the 30-metre line here at Carrington Park, Bathurst, with Peter Jolly and Michael Golikoff. Game 1 of week 2 of the Senior Country Championships. And thanks to our major sponsor in Amy. Here's the kick going down now. Telliaga at the back. Played at it. Regained it. And now he's playing it back to his teammate who offloads it to their winger in David Milne. As I said, played a little bit of rugby league for the Raiders and the Cowboys in the lower grades. Referee has said there's a tiny knock on here from David Milne.
Well, that was a 50-50 call. Could have gone either way. Would have been happy with the referee to let that one continue, but he's pulled it up for play the ball in discretion, and the Northern Rivers side will say thanks very much, ref. We'll take that one just inside of Riverina territory, and a chance for them to mount an attacking rate on the Riverina try line. A converted try will draw them level, and still plenty of time for them to snatch victory here in what's shaping up to be a thrilling closing stage to the match.
Howe, away to Cruz, palming away from one, offloading on his second attempt, back to Brett Kelly, going across the field. He'll look to straighten up. He'll even probably look to go into the ground at the first opportunity because there was no support play, and that's exactly what he was able to do. Van der Shaw backed it out of Thomas. He finds Shannon Green. Wakefield puts him into the ground. Good ball out the back. They're keeping it alive. Durheim spinning, weaving, and takes a tackle there of Nick Skinner. 21 metres out from the Riverina line. Back to King. Van der Shaw. 14 metres out. Looking to get back into the match, the Rivers. King. Back to Elliott. Try-saving tackle. Still going. He wasn't held. He'll play the football. McCarthy gets off him. The ball scrappy, picked up by Riverina. Referee here.
I think you might say the Riverina player charging through has knocked the ball on, and he's going to award another scrum feed to Northern Rivers. So again, the luck really swinging to their favour at the moment, and looking likely to Northern Rivers, expecting to see if they can structure a good set of 6 here. A try is in the making.
And they've got 10 minutes to capture the imaginations, not of just themselves, to get back into this match, but for their fans and supporters who are watching this telecast. Losing it! Riverina applying the pressure, and they've come away with the football. And this is Lelaya.
Well, Chris King, the 5'8", will be really disappointed to have the ball pop out like a cake of soap there on the first play in the back of the scrum. As I say, the pressure was really starting to go against Riverina, and I thought that the Rivers boys were about to draw level, but the Riverina side, they live another day and they work it out from their own red zone.
Telliaga. He'll receive a penalty. Well, this is what the Riverina side were after. They just need to somehow get outside their own half and play it up the other end. So, referee Michael Lace blowing his whistle. So the chance now, off the boot, to go well inside the Northern Rivers territory. And they find the touchline. 30 metres out. Back it comes now to Lelai. 20 metres away from the Rivers line. This is Wakefield. Runs into Shane Knight. Played back to Luff. Nuggeting, burrowing, down to his opposition's goal line. Now to Rose. McCarthy. They're up quickly on Skinner, but Skinner beat one, Skinner beat two. Skinner, can he get 4 or 5 and get over the line? He'll play it back. A metre away from the Rivers line. Luff in a dummy half. Back to the right-hand side of the field. Back to McCarthy. He steps, he weaves. He tries to straighten up. And they fall for it. 2 metres away from the line. Riverina on the attack. Back to Rose. He goes himself. He offloads it. Back to O'Sullivan. He's over. O'Sullivan. He scores for Riverina. Is that the game right there to O'Sullivan?
But there was plenty of options there for the Riverina side. Again, I was looking out to their right-hand edge and Jack Lyons was looking for his 5th. They could have gone far out to David Milne for his 2nd, but O'Sullivan was able to work his way a bit closer to the post and score what will certainly be the match-winning try.
Well, he's a former Balmain junior, O'Sullivan. First year playing in the bush for West Wyalong. And West Wyalong, only a few hours drive northwest, I guess, of Wagga Wagga, up around the Junee district, Griffith, in between those areas of New South Wales. O'Sullivan, what a moment for him. This is James Luff from Gundagai. Spent the last 2 years with the West Tigers in the New South Wales Cup as well. He converts the O'Sullivan try. 5 minutes to go on the CRL scoreboard.
And 28-16, looking like it could be an unassailable lead now for Riverina, which for Northern Rivers is going to be disappointing. They certainly were in this match up to their armpits for quite a long time, but Riverina have just been able to sneak away in the closing stages.
This may go out on the full. That's exactly what it does. Penalty back on halfway to Riverina. Well, there's not that much breeze, so he was able to strike that ball with dominant force, but only inches from going over that dead ball line.
On this one occasion, you don't want to be able to kick it as far as you can. Generally speaking, that's a good thing if you're looking for a long-range kick, but you certainly don't want to be going more than 50 metres from the kickoff, and given Riverina another chance to further trouble the scoreboard attendant.
Iapoa straight through. Look at him go. You're not going to forget that man. You'll be dreaming about him all night if you're on the back end of a tackle with him. Back it comes now to Lele. 4 metres away, Riverina with 8 minutes to go in the match. Back to Telliaga. He finds Brent Pike. He'll play the football back. This is Luff. Away to McCarthy. They go short. A metre out from the line. Comes back through the middle of the field. Back there now to Rose. Great ball. Lelai offloads it. And David Milne. He scores in the corner for the Riverina. That's it. That's the ball game now. They won't come back here for Northern Rivers.
Yes, and unfortunately that scoreboard just starting to blow out there and not necessarily be a true reflection of the game and the performance for Northern Rivers, who have made a real good, strong contest for most of this match. And unfortunately that previous restart, which went out in the full, gave the Riverina side a penalty from halfway, and from there they were able to work it back towards try-scoring range, and David Milne crossing out wide for his 2nd try.
There he is on the screen right now, David Milne. As I said, he's had a bit of NRL experience. had a few years in the lower grades up with the Raiders and the Cowboys. He returned to Griffith to coach the Griffith Panthers. So he knows what he's about, and he knows his experience, what that can do at lower level to teach the younger guys around him in the Group 9 competition. And the Riverina, well, we know that they can produce personalities that have graced our rugby league fields, our AFL fields over the years. Brilliant nursery down there throughout the Riverina, throughout the Wagga district, and of course the Albury Thunder have been one of the dominant sides since they've come into the competition. And Matt Rose used to play for them, one of the NRL players who used to play for the Titans back in the day as well. So they've got a great nursery of experienced NRL players, and a credit to everybody down throughout the Riverina, led of course by the CRL manager in that part of the world, Dave Skinner, doing good things down there. And the fans just love their sport. Rugby League, AFL, Union, they've got it all. And they've got it all in attack right here. Back to Pike. He finds Telliaga. They're finding it hard to put him into the ground. Doesn't want to go down. They finally put him on his back, thanks to Murphy. They may not be done yet. This is O'Sullivan. Squatted away from one, and he's put away 18 metres away from the Rivers line. It's all been Riverina in the last 10 minutes, charging their way to victory. Last tackle now coming up for them. What's their option? Back to Rose. He'll put it on the boot. They're coming through. Kelly, he's back there for the Rivers. And the Northern United fullback just sent it sailing in his possession over the dead ball line. So goal line dropout here. Only minutes to go in the first clash of two here at Carrington Park here in Bathurst. We're here for the 2015 Senior Championships. And of course, it's also Western Division's Old Boys Day here today as well. And between games, we'll be seeing the Group 10 JRL under 15s go around between the Bathurst Panthers and the Orange Bloomfield squad. And then, of course, we're back here for the 2 o'clock clash between the Western Rams and the Northern Tigers.
Well, short restart here, and Northern Rivers have been managed to get the loose head and feed, courtesy of Riverina knocking the ball on at the contest. So a wily play there has got them a result, but it's not going to count for much in the final result. But it might give them a chance to just put a bit of a lesser margin between the two sides.
So Nathan Rose, been everywhere, hasn't he, for Riverina, in both defence and attack. An attack right there. Just passing the screen to go back to the referee's position as Durham plays it back to their own 30-metre line. Now they've been pushed back towards their 20. Nick Skinner is over the top. There's not long to go in this one. The siren, it goes in the background. So that's full time here between Riverina and the Northern Rivers. And the final score, Riverina 32, Northern Rivers 16. Credit to Riverina to claw their way back into the match, but take nothing away from the boys from the Northern Rivers. They went with them, but in the end, Riverina just went the further distance.
Very entertaining first match here of a two-match program at Bathurst, and full credit to Riverina. They started strong, and despite Northern Rivers coming back at them several times throughout this match, they managed to keep their noses in front and in the end put a fairly comfortable margin between their opponents. But again, Scott Sattler's side from Northern Rivers hold their heads up high. They've put in a strong performance, and probably not the most reflective scoreboard of their performance in terms of the margin between the two sides, but there can only be one winner, and congratulations to Riverina today.
So we'll leave you now with these images. The boys from the Riverina doing their region proud. Congratulations to everybody involved with the team, from the administrators through to the strappers, through to the fans supporting you boys. A job well done here today at Carrington Park in Bathurst.
Nice. Nurse?
Sexy nurse.
What's Matty going as?
Trevor! 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 Trevor's in the trees!
I got this.
Accidents can be chaotic. Luckily, you can capture exactly what happened with our Amy Access app.
You can come down now, Neil.
I don't think I can.
You're with Amy.